5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
To the box is Madden. Madden trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, it's there! Oh my word! What a goal from Paddy Madden! The Irishman strikes again! And is that the goal that's going to send Stockport County back into the Football League?
We don't have to live in Doncaster all year round, so I know who the real winners are. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Scarf Beggar Award, the weekly show that aims to skewer the ambiguous, meaty mass of county news, views, and opinion. I'm making kebabs for tea tonight, in case you're wondering. Brought to you in association with the neat, sweet taste of Carabao. More on that later. Carabao. Oh, God almighty. Carabao, it's not Red Bull, and that's a good thing, apparently. Oh, my God. Oh, that's rank. Oh, Carabao, everyone. Drink Carabao, and you'll end up like me. Oh, I'm Nick Lee, sat here drinking Carabao for the next hour or so with, of course, the car parking king of the Keepmoat Stadium. I'm not calling it Keepmoat Stadium, it's Bellevue. It is Russ Johnson. Russ, are you all right, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna have to taste in your mouth like I have.
Yeah, I am actually from lots of tweets today. We'll come on to that later as well. But yeah, I'm gonna have to tick that product placement box, Anna, on Twitter, on YouTube. Sorry, in the back end.
But you need a product for that. This is not a product, mate. Carabao. It's not a product.
I don't think we should be like slagging off Carabao, considering we've got tickets to give away on behalf of them.
Well, should we give the tickets away and then we can start?
No, we'll do that later. So yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what we're doing. We've got Geordie Hatter with us. Welcome, Jonathan.
Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. And for those who might have witnessed me trying to be here last time I was supposed to be here, you'll know why I'm so especially happy to be here. So thank you for having me once again, everybody. Great to be here.
No problem at all. We're going to talk about the Colchester win. We're going to talk about the Donny defeat. We're going to give away some tickets. We're going to announce the ticket winners of the Carabao Cup tie against Leicester on Tuesday. The Twitter winners, we're going to announce those. We're going to announce the Facebook winner. And we've got a question for you if you want to stick around to answer if you want to win a third pair of tickets. And everybody knows how good we are at competition. So you just know it's going to go really smoothly, don't you?
Yeah. In association with Carabao.
So we're going to do all that. I'm going to also announce our guests for the upcoming weeks, because we've got them all sorted in a rare turn of events, which is it's unheard of for us. We tend to do it week by week, but we've got them all sorted, bar a couple. So that should be good. Let me just play a quick transition, and then we'll get into the Colchester match, shall we? So, Colchester on Saturday. What did you make of it?
Come on, Jonathan. You can go first on this one while I enjoy it.
All right. But by the way, I think we should just spend the whole night on Colchester. I mean, what have we played? What are games? Oh. The other ones I've receding from my memory. Well, I was there. It was my first time seeing us in competitive action this season, because I'd been away on holiday for the first couple of games. I'd been to the friendly against Altrincham. So I guess great to get down to EP, great to get the result. I guess I felt we ground out the result against opposition who came with zero ambition. That was one of my main takeaways from the game. Like, you come into the league and it's right, okay, we've risen up a grade here. We're going to be playing some football teams. Well, it was just kind of 3 walls of muscle erected by Colchester Town that we were invited to get through, wasn't it? I couldn't. If you'd asked me afterwards who was their standout player or to describe any of their players, I'm not sure that I could. Having said that, they nearly held out against us, didn't we? And it took some incisiveness from us to break them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. If you thought like being out of non-league, we'd seen the back of like anti-football. That was like on a whole new level. That was even at 1-0 down, they were time wasting,
Yeah,
which is one of the weirdest turns of events I've seen since
yeah.
Carabao got in touch.
Carabao, that's about 9 now. That's probably that'll probably do. Uh,
That's
I got the impression towards the end because I was like, wait, why are you time wasting? There's like 3 minutes left. I think that maybe because then I think they got a free kick and they loaded everybody into the box, and I thought, well, maybe that's the plan. Maybe because they're just a bunch of like big lads, The actual plan was get a dead ball, maybe get 1 or 2 dead balls and just kind of lump them into the box towards the end of the game and see if you can get something out of that rather than even at that late stage engage us in a game of football. But they threatened nothing from dead balls all night, didn't they? No, it's not as if they did. So it was weird. I just thought Colchester's approach was weird, and if I'd been one of their fans travelling however many miles that awful journey, well, I'd have been wanting my money back. I think I wouldn't have been pleased on the coach home.
some say that the Colchester left back is still there now, like taking his time over a throw in. Taking ages.
Yeah. It's a bit different, isn't it? Because like in the National League, when a team came and sat in like that, they kind of had something to play for, and it was their, I won't say their cup final or anything like that. I'm not going to be that pretentious, or patty on the heady, but it was a big game for them. They were coming against a big crowd, whereas Colchester should be used to that, and they are used to it. They get 3,000 and 4,000 themselves, don't they? I think down at Layer Road or whatever it's called these days.
It's the proper. Because that's the other reason I was excited about the game, because like Colchester United, sorry. Colchester United, that's a proper league team, isn't it? Which, with all due respect to Barrow from many years ago and Stevenage, kind of aren't really established as a league team, aren't they? Not in my eyes, anyway. So, they're a proper league team, they're playing for their decent crowds. It's just like another away game for them, right? Or should be. So if they do that every week, then I don't feel sorry for the 200 travelling supporters, because they should have known what we're going to get, So yeah, odd one.
Yeah, peculiar setup. Because it was Saturday and I knew we had Doncaster last night. I actually made some notes on this on my phone as the game was happening.
Such a show off.
Well, it's otherwise I'll forget, and we'll just be sat in having not done any research again. People were calling, certainly after last night, for Sarcevic to either be dropped or I don't know. Yeah, I guess to be dropped, not included. But against Colchester, and I know it was only Colchester, but there was a couple of occasions where he was ahead of the play in terms of receiving the ball and then almost wanting to release it, but one of our players, generally down the right, was where I saw it, weren't in time with him or hadn't kept up with him, and he had to check. That happened on at least 2 occasions that I saw.
I'm glad you mentioned the right-hand side, actually, because that's where I think we're not at our best. I think Southam Hales has it, but he won't have done, because considering the injury he had last season, how long he was out for, it's going to take him time to get up to speed. And I think the suspension might be the best thing if it does end up with a suspension, if it's not overturned, which it probably won't be. It might be the best thing to give him a couple of, a bit more fitness work on the training ground and everything, because he's not quite. It might even be down to players being quicker in this league. I don't know.
That's what I wonder. That's what I wonder. I think that I guess until he's fully recovered from his injury, we can't be sure. But it'll sound like I'm being kind of wise after the event, but I did worry a little bit when Minahan went, because there's a player who, taking emotion aside, there's a quality right back, right? I know he's not played league football yet, but there's nothing to suggest that he can't. And there was a little bit of me coming into the season that thought, look, MSH, what's his silver bullet? It's that ridiculous pace. It's like an express train against National League defenders. Everybody's quick in this division, so he's certainly not going to be such a massive asset. So that calls upon him to be just a really excellent fullback positionally, and I'm sure we'll get on to discipline as well, right? Having said that, while we're talking about the right hand side, I'm going to contradict myself now about what we've got there, because Newby, bloody hell, what a right back he is, by the way. I never saw that coming when he was kind of a squad midfield player for the last 2 seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
The left back as well. Don't forget for Colchester, he was really, really good. I think he had the measure of Southam Hales. I don't know when Southam Hales went off for Newby because Newby's that's where he plays now, isn't it? It's that right wing back position when he comes on. But it almost felt like that Southam Hales had done all the hard work for Newby and ground down that left back because that left back was pretty good,
like an opening bowler. Yeah, you tire him out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Not opening bowler, sorry, like the opening batsman, like Jeff Boycott. Yeah, do you know what I mean? The ball's just knackered now.
Knacker him out of it. And Newby came on for Southam Hales in the 58th minute, which was the same time that Wootton came on for, and this is going to be the next point I wanted to make, on for Ryan Croasdale. Right. Obviously, it worked on Saturday, but it baffles me that Croasdale is the first to be taken off when we're down to 10 men. Happened last night, and I think it happened against Stevenage as well, and I find that very strange. But obviously, we can only go off what we see. We're only seeing 10% of what, as I'm always at pains to say, we only see about 10% of everything that goes on. We're not seeing them in training in the week. We're not seeing the off the field stuff that's going on, So, but yeah, it's a strange when you kind of. When you're down to 10 men, you don't want to lose control of the midfield. It's almost like admitting defeat. And to take Croasdale off, who was so good at that last season, and has made a difference when he has played this season as well. I think we've looked better. We've looked better with him in there. So yeah, that gets to me a bit that he's the one to go off. It very nearly worked last night though. It very nearly within a couple of minutes of it working.
Yeah. Let's just stick with the Colchester match for now, and we'll come on to Donny obviously soon. I can understand why Croasdale's going off first because you've got Camps and Sarcevic in the middle with him. Now Camps on Saturday, he was just sublime in some of those tight spaces. He was absolutely unplayable. Not so much last night, but I think maybe circumstances affected that. It was just so good, and we were just on top all the time, weren't we, against Colchester? It was just
embarrassing.
It was, and that was against 11 men, and we'll come to Doncaster soon.
Was there a point for you on Saturday though? Because I looked at the stats about midway through the second, not long before we scored actually. I looked at the stats, and we'd had something like 76% possession, which is the same that Ipswich had against Colchester last week, only to go and lose at home. So I did have this tiny thing thinking, oh god. But even against Ipswich, Colchester created chances despite not having much ball. There was none of that against us. They might as well have just not turned up. It was pointless.
Yeah, I agree with that because I think that when you're watching your team, every time the opposition has the ball, you think that they're going to score, don't you? You're fearful when they're kind of coming forward, even though that's not rational at all, But I actually didn't feel like that with Colchester. Like that's how kind of little ambition they had, and I suppose going back to what you said, Gus, about County and Camps, that we've got to give ourselves some credit in the Colchester game because that midfield ran the game, and like you, I thought that Camps in particular just stood out. I love the way that. You say I'd seen him against Altrincham and thought, well, there's a really good midfielder, but like when he's in the league, But again, coming for the ball, wanting it in tight positions, getting his head up, threading it through, moving us forward quickly, all of that stuff that's really important against teams that are looking to kind of stifle you. So I just think he's a lovely footballer, and I think it was Johnson that got man of the match, wasn't it? I think, and was it Johnson who got man of the match?
No, James Brown.
Brown, yes. And I thought that. I could see that, but if there was another contender for me, I think it went out on Twitter, didn't it, from County?
Yeah.
Do you agree? And most people seem to agree with Brown, but Camps came a close second. For me, sitting on the ground, I was thinking Camps. Because while I liked what Brown did generally, I suppose picking a defender for a game where the other team isn't trying to attack you as man of the match, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas our midfield whereas Camps kind of maybe did more in terms of making the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I bet James Brown felt good after getting that man of the match award, didn't he?
Do you know what? I've been meaning to upload some sort of like klaxon video for stuff like this.
He's got you could say James Brown's got a brand new bag, and it's got a celebratory bottle of Stockport gin in it.
I should imagine it has.
Yeah, it's funny because I thought that as well about the defence. because my two, I always do it with my lad. We guess who we think the man of the match is going to be from the sponsors. And I said, well, I thought it'd be Camps. Second for me would be Lewis. James Brown wasn't in my thinking. Happy Hatter as well said hers was Lewis. He's been pretty good. We'll come on to Doncaster soon. Yeah, I think James, with a team that doesn't attack you like Colchester don't, you're in for a comfortable afternoon. But Lewis did everything that he needed to do. The reason why I give it Camps is because there was parts of the game where they kind of did threaten in the middle third, not so much in the final third, and he just got us out of these tight little spots time and time again. I think at one point there was like 3 players on him, and he did some sort of touch where he touched it with his right foot, but made it sort of spin behind him, and he two lads just disappeared, and he sort of took it forward from there.
Does Camps not remind you of a more mobile John Rooney?
Yeah, I give you that. Yeah,
something in
that.
And the way that he has he's like he's got a picture of the pitch and all the players on it at any given moment. So he'll produce short passes, or we don't see the massive great back long ones as much as we did with Rooney, but he'll produce the pass that maybe we can see in the stands, but you don't expect the player to see because I haven't got that helicopter view. You kind of got that on the pitch. So I suppose me only little worry which is attached to that is it's this embarrassment of riches thing, because I guess going back to Crosdale, isn't it? It's like we ended that. I know Collar's injured, but we ended the last season with 3 really. It was like the Holy Trinity, those 3, wasn't it? Crosdale, Collar, Sarcevic, and now I guess I generally get the impression that that Challoner doesn't know his strongest side yet. Now, okay, maybe that's fine early in the season, but also I guess we want to get to the point where it's like, well, these guys are the midfield, right? If we're going to field them.
Yeah, I think they sort of naturally do that as the season progresses, don't they? Your fitness comes through, maybe your disciplinary record. Again, we'll come to that. Yeah. That'll all not settle down, but it tells the manager with the players that he can trust almost and go with, and who he can rely on. Just a comment from Eladis: when is Collar back? Not sure.
When Collar is back, what's our best midfield 3? You've read that wrong there, Russell.
Oh, sorry. When Collar is back, what's our best midfield 3? Yeah, but I mean, it's still the question remains: when is he back? I guess as well.
I think you need a lovely drink of Carabao, mate. Get them energy levels up.
I am feeling a bit drowsy. I've not been too well these past few days since Saturday, so I could do with a bit of a pick me up.
Oh, this isn't the pick me up you want, mate.
Is it not?
Other energy drinks are available.
Oh, I can't see him being any better though. That's my worry.
Yeah.
Andrew Seed says if Rooney and Cannon had a baby, Camps would be that baby. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, I'd forgotten about Cannon, but again, he was a similar. He was like a flash in the pan, wasn't he? Because he was on loan, but he was that similar kind of profile of player, move it quickly, vision. Looked like he clearly could operate at a higher level, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess all of these things are nice problems nice headaches for a manager to have, aren't they?
Yeah,
and I'm sure we can't sort out over the course of the season once that's settled.
He'll iron it out. Challoner, I'm confident Challoner will iron all that out. What doesn't help is silly injuries, I guess, in training or whatever. Things that he's not planned, and silly suspensions. But just back to Colchester, did anybody notice at half time? We saw this. The subs were warming up for Colchester. Our players came back out, and one of their subs went to feign a shot at Crowsdale before kickoff. Don't know if you saw this.
No,
to feign a shot at Crowsdale, a bit like David Brent does to that girl at reception.
But he loved football, mate.
Yeah, does that. So Crowsdale obviously naturally goes like that and thinks he's going to kick it at him. The Colchester lad laughs. Sarcevic just gets the ball and whacks it away. His ball. And then this lad's going like that. Then you're sort of not happy about him whacking it away. And then Madden squares up to him and.
I didn't see any of that. I was at the bar. I've been amazed that I managed to get a pint of Heineken in like less than 10 minutes, which I had. But I wish I'd been there to see that. It sounds like the sort of carry on you'd get before like a 5-a-side league game down at Ardwick Pit in 1997. You know, so when the opposition nicks your warm-up ball and runs off with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're appealing to the red. He's like, he's not going to get involved. He's getting paid £5 an hour. You know. Yeah. It sounds like that. So that's league football. Welcome to league football, everybody. Isn't it fantastic?
Yeah. The other thing is, as well, just going back to the defenders as well. Johnson, for some reason, couldn't find a 10-yard pass, but then sprayed a half volley out to feet to Newbie in the second half. It's like,
you need to do that every time he gets the ball. If you can do that, just
don't go short, Johnson. Go long, and you'll find him.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, he wasn't quite on his game in terms of distribution, maybe. Again, I guess that's a step up of leagues as well, and so it's one of those little things that we need to iron out, I suppose, as we'll go on, right?
Yeah, it's a shame. Talking of combining two players to have a love child player, if we could have the distribution of Mark Kitchen along with the defensive ability of Ryan Johnson, we would have one heck of a defender on our hands.
Yeah. That would be quite something, wouldn't it? Or, you know, MSH's pace plus anybody you kind of name, you know. I mean, we could make a few of these, couldn't we? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Couple more comments then. Stockport official. This must be the official Stockport account.
As opposed to Stockport unofficial.
Yeah. I wonder what team Leicester will play.
It's Stockport County.
I was going to say this playing Stockport. I was going to say. Did you not know?
In what cup? What cup?
You think you'd know that, wouldn't
you? But just to answer that, we don't know, but there is going to be a podcast special, isn't the Nick? Tell us all about that.
Yeah, we're going to get a Leicester fan on. Well, we're either going to get a Leicester podcaster or my cousin Dan, who is a big Leicester fan, who's been going home and away for 30 odd years. So one of the two. But yeah, so I'll pop that out this weekend, either Sunday or Monday. We'll get that on the go, and we'll have a nice little preview. Well, we are speculating on what team Leicester will put out. I think it'll be a strong one because Brendan Rodgers is well under pressure at the moment. It could be that we're taking on a managerless Leicester next Tuesday. I don't think he's that far off. It seems from looking on the Leicester forums, it seems that Rodgers wants out, but he doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to resign. He wants a payoff. So it's basically a matter of when will results get that bad. Because he's not got the... He seems to be wedded to play in his system when he's not got the players for it, which seems to be the main concern. But for them, the League Cup the Carabao Cup is... it's a chance for them to actually do something. I think they'll be taking it seriously. So I don't think we'll see too many changes. They're playing Southampton at home on Saturday. I don't think there'll be too many changes, maybe 3 or 4. But I'd expect to see mostly first. They don't have a lot of depth in the squad anyway.
Well, they've not. They're the Premier League team not to have bought a player this summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they've got a terrible goalkeeper as well.
Who's the goalkeeper now?
It's Danny Ward now, formerly of Liverpool, Welsh international. Yeah, Kasper Schmeichel's gone to France.
Okay. I suppose that Leicester are they're not going to. They're that kind of level of team that if you were one of their fans, you'd want them to take the cup seriously because they're not going to win the league. They're not going to get in the Champions League. They're probably not going to get relegated, like Newcastle in that way. You know what I mean? Like how I'm always upset when Newcastle play reserve team in the cup. You know, so you'd imagine that they'll take it seriously. And like you say, I don't think they've got it's not as if they can put out a reserve team that's really strong. So yeah, I think we'll see a strong Leicester City team. I'm looking forward to it. Needless to say, you know, it's amazing the draw, isn't it?
Does anyone want to put any money in? I'm funding a cardboard cutout of Colleen Rooney to stick behind there, but I'm worried I'll do it and Vardy won't be in the squad, which just
you'll look silly then, won't you?
I've got my cutout and I've got my Carabao. I'm sorted, mate.
You've got my fiver right there.
Going back to Danny Ward, You said he's a terrible goal. He's not a terrible goalkeeper, is he? He's just not to the standard of the Premier League top half.
In comparison to
yeah. And I think he's actually our best chance of getting something from it. Because he's kind of, I'd say, the weak link, and I'm probably giving them the team talk now. Not that they listen to this, but Brendan Rodgers is playing our podcast pretty much. But I think he's definitely one of the weak links. You got Tielemans in midfield, haven't you? Vardy up front, and oh God, I don't know, Harry Maguire in defence. I don't know who they've got anymore, but yeah,
they've still got Maddison. Maddison,
they got Maddison. Maddison, yeah, he scored at the weekend, didn't he?
He's a good player, isn't he? So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess they'll be good. They're a Premiership team. Yeah.
We could totally destroy Maddison's chances of going to the World Cup if we play our cards right.
What, by nobbling him?
Yeah. or just him having a terrible stinker of a game.
That's better. That's better, isn't it? Yeah, we'd never endorse.
To the point where when they're like debating the squad, it'll be like, well, did you see Maddison against County? No, I wouldn't have him. No, I wouldn't have him against Iran.
Yeah, he was marked out of the game by Ryan Crosdale. He was anonymous.
Yeah. Until Crosdale was subbed after half an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
In which case Maddison ran riot after that. Interesting that you mentioned.
Yeah.
When you mentioned Tielemans earlier, probably the most genuine world-class player in that Leicester side. When was the last time we had a proper world-class player come and visit us at Edgley Park? Visit us as opposed to be part of our team, because we all know Ash Palmer fits that category to a T.
Would it have not been West Ham Would it not have been West Ham a couple of seasons ago?
I'm thinking who was West Ham? Who's West Ham got? I'm thinking, yeah.
Declan Rice, I'd say.
Yeah. Kufal, Souček, they're all world class.
Yeah.
Well, they play international football, don't they? I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'd definitely say Declan Rice is world class. I'd go that far. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad I thought we'd have to think back to being in the Championship, but that's the drawback of having a game where you don't allow any fans in. That we just forgot all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be so great, wouldn't it, to have that game under the lights at Edgley Park? Oh my goodness.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So you're doing a pre-match show for that. I'm joining the lads on Leicester City Fan TV on Friday night. I think that's going to go out on Sunday or Monday. So that'll be good.
You're away on holiday next week, aren't you? So if Granada reports of anyone, get in touch next week.
It's you. On it. Yeah, it's you.
It. Yeah, I'm darkening their door.
You should wear a cap and be moody. Get you mixed up with Klopp.
Yes, yeah, the facts of Jurgen Klopp. Yeah.
No, so that'll be good. Yeah, I've got nothing else on Colchester. It was a good win. Good win in the end. Ground it out. Good for Wootton to get his first goal.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Wootton because it always seems when things aren't going swimmingly, it's always the target man type striker who gets the worst end of it. I think if you could look back to Odejayi, Tom Elliott before that as well, Brett Angel at points early in 96, 97. It always seems to be that physical striker who gets all the shit, which really, really grinds my gears, Russell.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what? I agree with that. And even I know he wasn't a regular player, and I know he did divide opinion just generally. But whenever Niall Bell played, the big target man, and I used to get dogs abuse in the stands. And I was thinking to myself, look, I've never coached at a high level, but I would have thought that that's a difficult position to play, like when you're 40 yards away from everybody and things being lumped up to you. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's true. I think that there's just a little bit of people have got to appreciate what that job is when the team's up against it and you're not creating chances and you're doing all of that donkey work and chasing their defenders around, all that stuff. So I was really pleased for him, and just looking at the goal again today, there's a class striker, right, running across the defender with the near post, getting his head on it. It's you might say it's just a 2-yard header, but his movement to get on that 2-yard header is it's exemplary, isn't it? So more of that.
Yeah, definitely. Back to Leicester, if we can just sort of skip about a bit. The the club have just tweeted that Leicester game is now sold out. So
That was quick.
that was that was pretty quick. So let me just try and flash something up. There we go. Sold out. But we do.
I'm just looking at your bookmarks just to see if there's anything dodgy there. Oh, there isn't.
No.
Well, cycling. It's pretty dodgy, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is. It depends how you look at it, really, doesn't it? So sold out, but you can win tickets with us. So we have tickets to give away. But unfortunately, Jonathan, we can't do an inside job and give them to you, can we? But that's not on.
No,
I'm really sorry about that.
Carabao have just messaged me.
I spent the last 10 minutes, everyone, before the show, desperately on County's website on my phone trying to get a ticket because Nick let me know that the one open sale. I missed the fact that being an open sale. So there's my appeal going out there right now for any spares that become available. One anywhere from me.
Would you like me to console you with a can of Carabao mixed berry? Will that make you feel better?
We're going to only try, Nick. We're going to only try.
Okay, moving on to Doncaster Rovers then last night. I mean, I'll go first with this. I'm gonna basically repeat what I tweeted this morning. After I'd got over it last night,
hopefully no one will wet the bed over it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but what I'm about to say is only what I saw. So if there are any Doncaster fans watching, either on the replay or watching live, do message in. I'm going to say exactly what I saw, and this is what I tweeted this morning. Doncaster fans made no noise until the red card. They made no noise until they actually scored. They made no noise until they got the winner. And that was after 70 minutes of probing and being on top of us. Mm-hmm. And when they did that, it was tops off. Honestly, it was tops off, swinging them round as if they'd won, I don't know, Brazil away. Yeah, the Carabao Cup or something. Yeah. And then today, the tweeting that the two central midfielders were had given them a masterclass. Yeah, that's what I saw. That's what they tweeted. So I don't know why we got a load of shit for that, but.
I do agree with everything you've said there, Russ, apart from the tops off thing. Because obviously, you might not be au fait with the ways of the Doncaster people, but it just, having the tops off when they get home, it's easier for them to just slip into bed next to the sister. You see, they've already got the tops off, pants down, and they're in. So maybe think about that before you start slagging him off.
Oh, I should have thought about that. I should have done my research, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
I know it's a bit woke.
Why you do it, sir?
Yeah. So that's what I saw. But I've got a form for this. It annoys me when home fans don't get behind the team, especially, just get behind your team from the off, like we do at Edgeley Park. We don't wait for it to be for the other opposition team to go down to 10 men before we get behind them. We just get behind them, don't we? Yeah. So it annoys me, and I did hark back to the most recent events that were like that, which was Grimsby, where they were the same. We were on top, and they only came out to play when Sarcevic got sent off. And then the other one, I guess, is Chesterfield. I mean, different circumstances, but they celebrated that 2-2 again. I don't know. I just think the celebration should match what it should be in proportion to what you've just won. And Doncaster beat 10 men after struggling for 70 minutes to break 10 men down.
Yeah. In a way, I kind of get the crazy celebrations at the end a little bit more because, okay, you've won in the 95th minute, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing about not really getting behind your team during the game, when it's kind of set up for that, because the opposition is down to 10 men, you're knocking on the door, you've hit the crossbar, you've hit the post, the opposition goalkeepers, keeping them in the game. Maybe that's all set up for the real rousing atmosphere in the Keaton Road, Bellevue, whatever, isn't it? So
yeah,
if they didn't show that, it's
well they didn't, and we took just over 1,100 and we made loads of noise like we do on the road because we our fans we're brilliant on the road, aren't we? Mm-hmm. that to me should bring them out to have a bit of more atmosphere in their home end. And
If
Surely
anything,
you
because of
love
the
it when there's away
embarrassment.
fans making a noise.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
weird.
Yeah, because that's something that for us, isn't it? Like recently over the course of maybe it's the last season for some of the big games, and now we're looking forward to it now in the league, isn't it? You know, when the opposition would bring decent numbers, we'd be all talking about that, wouldn't we? Like that'll make a great atmosphere at AP because we'll get singing as well. So
Yeah.
they've got no excuses for their muteness. That's
they
for
haven't.
sure.
I mean, we've got somebody who's World CH, so it's 3CH. They were relegated last season, so might not be too positive. I get that, but when we went down, we were always trying to be positive. It was never.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they've left the house and got the bus to the grounds. You know, they're there.
Exactly.
You may as well kind of get into it at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So on to the game then, unless anybody's got anything more to say about the fans. You know.
I think you have.
I've said all I need to say. I got a load of whoppers messaging me, but I got a load of Doncaster fans. Like literally, I'd not said anything, and they were just coming back. One messaged at about, I don't know, 4 o'clock or something, and said, "Are you still crying about it?" It's like, really?
When that's all they've got, it's like, oh, cry more. Stop it.
Yeah, cry more.
Talk like an adult.
Cry more. You're being a bit salty, and there's one other that I forgot about, which I can't remember what it is. Cry more, salty.
Cry me a river.
Cry me a river,
Another one that pops up, yeah. Thanks, Justin Timberlake.
Phil Lloyd, still get behind your team no matter what the circumstances. Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
right,
Maybe we're spoiled at County because we've got like the best fan base that get behind the team all the time. I mean, there have been elements when we don't, and we can be a bit.
I think there are pockets of bell ends as well at County, because no matter where I sit, I seem to be near someone who's telling players to F off back to whatever club they came from and stuff like that. No matter which player, how we're doing, it'll just be one stray pass and you'll get it. So there are pockets of bellendery, but yeah, not to the same extent as this.
No, not on the whole. But if you're always around those people, Nick, are they not your mates?
No, definitely not. I've made sure of that. Yeah, I've told
Right.
them. Like, he'll say like, "Oh, fuck off back to Notts County, Wotton," and I turn around and go, "You're not my friend
anymore.
I'm never going to be friends with you ever. Don't know you from Adam, but we will never be mates." Yeah, say goodbye to your chance of coming on the podcast, mate, because that's gone.
Like it's,
and then they laugh at, then they call me a little specky 4-eyed square, and then I cry, and then I go to get myself a pint to like make myself feel better, and there's 2 Colchester players just at the front of the queue wasting time. So
yeah,
what do you want to do?
That had it all covered. Maybe we need a part of the ground just for bell ends. I've always wondered.
Well, we've got the main stand, haven't we, for that?
Oh.
Ooh.
I was going to say, with the 2 Colchester players paying for the pints in small change to waste time.
And they ordered like 15 pints for them and all the mates, and then said, "Oh, and a pint of Guinness as well." The worst. Nothing worse than ordering a Guinness last. Just stupidity. I'd piss in it.
You can get a 2-pint a 2-pint glass, can't you? Which that takes a bit of time as well. You know.
What, to pour or to drink?
Well, to pour.
It just takes twice as long as a pint, surely.
They mustn't take long to drink because people are walking back with them with 5 minutes to go till second half kickoff. But by the time you get your pint, you're thinking, that's just a little drink. I should have got one of those big ones.
Yeah, it's weird that. I've noticed that.
You don't think that in a pub, don't you? You don't think, oh, just got myself a little drink here. I should have, Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I restrained myself. I just went for the pint because I only had 2.5 minutes by the time I ordered it. You know what I mean? So.
It does take a long time to pour. If you stood there and you've ordered a 2-pinter, it does take a long time to pour, particularly because they've not bothered to pre-pour any. Just eschewing common sense and going for that. And as we all know, a watch pint never pours.
It's like it's almost like you get to the front and you're like, pint of Heineken, please. I'm like, that's a novel order. Pint of Heineken, how about that? I'm like, do you know what? We might have Heineken. We're like, oh yeah. Like, stop pouring the frigging things out at 20 to 4 for God's sake. You know, I think they're going to sell them. I think you're going to sell them, and you're probably going to sell more because there's like 400 Thirsty County fans who don't end up getting their pint because you're like, well, we're going to hold down here because they might not want Heineken. They might want something else. You know.
Queuing etiquette has just gone for a Burton as well. There's no like people are just pushing into the queue. Like you'll think you're like 10 from the front. You'll look down at your phone to check the halftime scores. Look up, and you're about 400 deep.
People just
or you're back in your seat. It's like, oh,
what's happened?
They just
back in the seat, spitting feathers.
They know exactly what they're doing. They pretend they've been shoved into this position just in front of you. You know, it's like, I saw that. You walked here, by the way. You know, so all things considered, I was pleased with my pint. Kept
back to the game.
The game. That started again. Again. Sorry, I was done cold.
No, it's all right. It's all right. That's why I'm here. To bring it all back.
Like S7.
Back to the game. So obviously, turning point, the red card.
Oh yeah, Doncaster.
Was it a turning point? Yes, it was. Is the answer to that?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I just wanted to do that voice. I just wanted to get up that high.
It was a turning point. Red card, yes or no, Nick?
Right. It's not a red, but it's not a red. I mean, it's quite okay. The Doncaster fan on Twitter saying it was an uppercut is absolutely mental and needs sectioning for like his own good as soon as possible. Like if he works with like vulnerable people or small children, I want his DBS taken away because he's actually watched the highlights and said, yeah, it's clearly an uppercut. He's referencing the highlights when he's saying it. He's saying you can see on the highlight it's not an uppercut. But that said, Southern Hales was ridiculously stupid to get involved in it whatsoever. There's no need whatsoever. You can say what you like about Tommy Rowe going down like he'd been shot. Well, he started to go down like he'd been shot. He kind of did a thing where he's about to go down, and then he realised how much of a knob he looked.
I think that's right. You know, I think he saw. Yeah. I think he was about to go down, but he realised what you just said. But also, I think a bit of him was going, "This is Stockport County. I'm not gonna. I've got to go back there at some point, or I've got to go and live there at some point, or whatever." I think it's within Shaw or something anyway. But I definitely think he did that. He thought that because you could see it in his knees. You could see in his knees he did that.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like if you, Russ, if you had a proclivity for like going out into parks and putting your willy into the foliage, and then one day you did it and there was a wasp's nest in there, then I'd be like, well, that's your own fault for getting involved. And it's the same thing applies here in a roundabout way. It's just doing ourselves no favors with stuff like that. And it's the same last season. There was like Kitchen got a red card in a game. Was it a game we'd already won? And he just went running over and giving the referee. If you raise your arms to another player, you're asking for trouble. For me,
yeah. That was my takeaway. So I saw it from the other side of the pitch, and I saw him raise his hands.
Still had a better view than a linesman.
Well, it's funny because I said to Dan, I said this could be a red card, you know, because he's raised his hands. Dan didn't really see it. The linesman, I don't know what it is. The linesman flagged as if he couldn't wait to tell the referee. Do you know what I mean? Like ooh, like that. I was like, because the referee honestly
made that noise as well. He probably made that noise when he was doing it.
Yeah, he probably did. Yeah. So you know, I'm gonna like stop short of calling him a grass, but you know, he's like,
there's kind of an extent to which he's doing his job, isn't there? But he doesn't have to relish it quite too much. You know?
I mean, and if I said it's probably going to be a red card. I just think they both could have got spoken to 20 minutes in, and just said, "Look, lads, stop it. I'm your referee. Stop."
Yeah. Caroline Burt says we get too many red cards for a team that's not dirty in the slightest, far too naive, and that's it. That's it. Nails. Naivety.
I would agree with that because I'm going to make two admissions. One that I couldn't get to the game last night. I was represented by Frank. Young Geordie Harrer went in the coach, and I've not seen him since. I've not got his take on the setting off either. That's my first admission. My second admission is that I looked at the highlights today, the Doncaster highlights, but I don't know if there's a longer version. The version I saw was 2 minutes long, and the sending off consists of the camera panning from the action down to MSH getting sent off. Doesn't show the incident. But I guess what I will say, informed by having seen where, and also just I guess what we generally know about the game, is that there seems to be a consensus that nobody's denying he raised his hands. So you just don't raise your hands, right? You just don't raise your hands. And I don't actually like that thing that's kind of crept into the modern game of as soon as you raise your hands, you're off, because we can see what's a really violent act and what isn't a really violent act. You know what I mean? I think there could be some judgment applied, but every professional footballer knows that if you raise your hands, you're going to give the referee a decision to make, and you know what it might be. So I don't think in that respect, if it's true that that's how he's reacted, he really hasn't got too many excuses. And it's not. And also there is the wider point of it's not the first time. We've had sendings off in the National League, which were unnecessary. We used to get away with it because we were so much better as footballers, and we can play with that intensity against players that can't, even 10 against 11. Well, that's not going to be the case now, is it? So I think that that's going to be my poll for tomorrow, for me show on Saturday. Is what do we think needs most sorting most quickly? Is it the selection? Is it the recruitment? Is it the discipline? Is it? I've forgotten what I was thinking for the other one, but the discipline needs sorting, doesn't it?
I think it does. But again, just going to edgy here, are we really questioning the discipline and not the officiating? I think we've got to question both. I quite like Perito's 80-20. We can control 80% of this, which is the disciplinary element of it. We can't control the 20%, which is the officiating. It is poor, but it's poor for everybody as well, isn't it?
It's poor for everybody. And to quote Dave Challoner, who I remain a massive Dave Challoner fan, obviously, like I'm sure most of us do, as county fans, he uses that, doesn't he? Control the controllables.
Yeah.
We know that we're in that environment where there's stuff you can't control. That's probably the biggest one you can't control, the officiating. So
and Challoner was quite clearly furious at Southern Hales as well when
right, and quite rightly so. Yeah. But equally about the referee, and he's going to protect his players to a certain extent, isn't he? I know he's like sandbagged a couple of them live on air or whatever, but he's going to protect him to a certain extent. The refs, it has been poor. He was poor on Saturday against Colchester as well. And I don't know. And Nigel Pearson was out last night, wasn't he? Lambasting the ref that they had for Bristol City. So yeah. But I kind of agree with Challoner as well that if they get something wrong, maybe not in this instance, but if they get something wrong generally, why don't they get bans? Why don't they get some sort of penalty?
Why don't referees get asked to do interviews on Match of the Day afterwards?
Yeah.
That'd make a bit more transparency. Would make. So, I mean, I can see it is a thankless task, and you'll know more about this than me, Russ. But at grassroots level in kids football, they're getting abuse of parents every week. So it's no wonder people don't want to become referees. Yeah. But can we just sort out the ones that are refereeing first? Can we just get them sorted before we start a recruitment drive for more? Because it's just. I mean, back to the Southern Hales incident last night. United versus Brighton last weekend. Harry Maguire got into a full-on shoving match with a Brighton player and actually pushed him into the chest. And it was the definition of raising your arms to another player. It was clear as day, and he only got a yellow for it.
He's raised both of them. He's raised all of his arms.
Yeah. All four of his arms.
No, it's true. And that one's been seen by like 67 cameras 42 times and poured over, which
and with VAR as well. And
that's what I mean.
Red for it.
That's what I mean. And I think that, well, we don't have VAR, don't we? Not, but I think that sometimes things get overthought and overanalyzed with VAR. But we all know what a sending off is. So yeah, it sounds like there's something to learn for us here, because the shithousery is of a higher quality, it would appear, here in League Two, right? There's teams that are going to be able to pull that stuff off, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess after that, I mean, I thought, oh Jesus, we've got 70 minutes now of backs to the wall. Yeah. I normally leave on the whistle. I stayed behind in Clapton because they just put a massive shift in. Mm-hmm. And I've always said, in games, I go to 60 minutes and I decide then whether we're playing well or we're not. That's my kind of yardstick. The longer the game went on and we'd not conceded, and we got the equaliser as well just after half time, which was great. the longer it went on, I was even thinking to myself, even if we lose this late on now, they're blowing out their asses. They put a proper shift in, against the masterclass of the two central midfielders. So I wouldn't say I was pleased with the defeat, but there's worse defeats.
Yeah. Well, Russ, I'd be interested to know what was the reaction generally from the county fans at the end. Was it a mixed reaction, or was most people kind of giving them a good reception at the end?
Yeah, everyone was giving them a good reception. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. The boos were for the ref and the linesman, and we were playing on the counter. We were just trying to soak it up. He made 3 changes, brought on Evans, Crankshaw, and newbie to changed sort of like the two, because Madden was out wide and Hippolyte was on the other flank out wide, just trying to play the counter. If anything, I was a bit frustrated with Yaros's distribution, because when you're playing against 11 men and you are playing counter, the last thing you want to do is just give it straight back to the opposition, and we did a lot of that from the keeper.
I'm surprised in that line, because one thing we haven't talked about with Colchester was Yaros's distribution. There was one pass he played which was better than anything the midfielders played all night. Everyone thought about drilled on the ground first time in midfield. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. I've seen some comments. Well, after the game, mostly Yellowboard Twitter saying, we could have shown more ambition. It was inevitable eventually that we would concede later on, but. What do you think about that? Because it sounds like we played enough on the break. We didn't just sit back.
I think the trouble is, if you show more ambition in that sort of scenario, you open yourself up to getting absolutely leathered. And I think what he's done is he's played it just about right in terms of how he's set the team up and what he's asked them to do. And I think we've just run out of steam in the end and got unlucky. I think that's it. Yeah, Yaros made some great saves, by the way. They were on top of us. Make no mistake.
Do you know what? If it wasn't for the fact we conceded in the last minute, I mean, I think we'll still remark upon Yaros as you just have. But if that goal hadn't gone in at the end, I guess that would have been remembered as one of the great goalkeeping early performances for a goalkeeper. Like really kind of making his mark at County Yaros, right? If he managed to keep us in the game. And get the 1-1, because he made some decent stops, didn't he?
Brilliant. Yeah. His distribution wasn't too bad. Ryan Moore's commented here that it wasn't Jarvis's distribution though. Well, it kind of was, because he's trying to hit a pin out of 60 yards, but why not try something different or go shorter? I don't know what, because you're just letting them come back at you every single time, and that's what it was. The amount of times that I was rolling my eyes and people were getting a bit frustrated that it went to them, but it didn't need to. It didn't need to. We could have kept hold of it. And that was my only gripe, really.
It does sound like the sort of thing that the manager would have said to would say to the goalkeeper as a standard thing, right? Keep the ball. So it's just a bit of an odd one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless I don't know. Unless Yaros's time was up when he had the ball and he was kicking it out of his hands, he couldn't go on the floor because the strikers were too near, so he just had to go long out of his feet. Out of his hands. Sorry, I don't know. I guess that could have come into play.
Okay, maybe.
But unlucky in the end.
Yeah,
I think it's just as it has been. Also, I'm pretty much. If you go back to pretty much from say 2016 when Gannon came back and things started going on the up again. When it hasn't been going right for us, it has just been fine margins and easily fixable stuff. It's not like massive wholesale issues that need sorting and stuff like that. It's it's fine margins again. Like obviously we've kind of had the debate about the red card and everything, but we were looking very good prior to the red card. We were going to be good value to get at least a draw. I mean, I'd have taken a draw anyway at the start. Win your own games, draw your aways, and you'll be there thereabouts. But again, it's just fine. Stevenage, 2 late goals.
Yeah,
Barrow, a game where we didn't really get going early enough, and then extra 5 or 10 minutes on the end of that game, we're getting something. Barrow, so it's all very close, isn't it?
No, it is. It's, I was reflecting that today myself, and I think, you know, I guess my reflection was if the games were 88 minutes long or 89 minutes long, you know, and what would we be on? Would be on 2 wins, a draw, and a defeat, right? As opposed to 1 win and 3 defeats. So I know it's easy to say if the games were 88 minutes long, but that's it. They're really, really fine margins. We're not getting that every week. We're competing every week. We know that we've got the quality, right? I mean, those guys should have that quality, and I guess that's another thing I've seen a little bit on yellow boards in particular. You know, we need to sign more players. We need to sign another defender. We need to sign another striker. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've thrown the checkbook at this situation because I don't know that's such a bad situation, and also we've got decent quality to at our disposal, right?
We've got 2 weeks before the window opens. So how many games have we got in that 2 weeks? It's Mansfield, then Leicester, which I suppose is a free hit.
Yeah, Swindon and Port Vale.
Swindon and Port Vale. Port Vale's the
Peachtree.
Papa John's.
Yeah.
Although I saw it posted as the PJT earlier, and all that went through my head was Ponston's Jake Trophy. So that's what I'll be calling it for the rest of the season. the Ponston's Jake Trophy. Yeah. So there's 4 games between now and the window closing. 2 of them cup games where we can rotate a bit and give chances to players that maybe haven't got minutes. So yeah, I kind of don't want there to be activity on the day of the window because then we'll have to do an extra podcast and we'll just come across like a set of bellends doing that. Russ outside Carrington with a dildo.
Yeah, I think we'll see people come in. I kind of agree with one of the comments here. Striker, one that can run in behind. I know Crankshaw is. I think Crankshaw's try kind of being retrained for that or something. I heard, but we need someone. I think Crankshaw's better he's better out wide for me.
Which is a problem because we don't play with that system, so it's going to be an issue. Yeah,
well, we kind of did last night with 10 men. It's almost we had.
I kind of hope we won't have 10 men every week.
Well, no, granted, yeah.
Yeah, I hope that's not the plan. I guess if anything, I'd agree with the commander there that, you know, pacey striker who can get in behind. My heart says I'd love Ollie Crankshaw to really kind of step up into that position as a young lad and become a 20-goal season striker. My heart says that. I guess my head says, well, he's a winger, he's young, it's a new level for him. If we can go out and sign somebody to actually play that role, and you know, does that? I know there's talk of whether Wooden and Quigley are too similar as players. So if there's some ins and outs involved there, I don't know. Yeah.
You've touched on the outs there because you would expect there to be a couple. It doesn't seem as though Quigley's fancied at all. Obviously, didn't come on last night when we kind of needed a physical presence to help the ball stick a bit up top, and he wasn't called upon.
No, but I think sorry to cut across you. I think he'd gone away from that game plan as soon as he went down to 10 men. So as soon as Wootton went off, he was never going to bring Quigley on.
I suppose so, because you'd leave Wootton on the pitch, wouldn't you, if you're going to play with that powder man?
You don't need Quigley for counters, do you? Let's face it.
Yeah. No. So yeah, I think because there's something about the size of the squad, isn't there? And you don't want a bloated squad. So if some people do come in, then it would probably be for the best that some. So there's ones that go out as well, just so we've got that, not too much of an embarrassment of itches, and keep players happy, not disgruntled because they're not getting a game at all. All that stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, last night again, just sort of going on to man of the match and finishing off last night, I couldn't really pick any. I mean, if I had to pick anybody, it possibly might be Hippolyte. But they all dug in and really did a solid.
Hippolyte had a lot of involvement in the goal as well, which we kind of touched upon. But what a lovely, well worked goal that was, and a double Megnuts as well.
Yes, double Megnuts. Yeah. It's
I like Hippolyte when he build up. I like that. He ran with it, didn't he? And then it wasn't who then puts the final ball in for the?
It was Camps.
It was Camps, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But it was Hippolyte who made it. Just silky skills on the left, wasn't it? Kind of moving forward.
He's brilliant. It's just I love Hippo. I really do.
He's one of those players. He's just lovely to watch, isn't he? Just the way he glides on and off the ball. He's just like you pay money for that.
Yeah, he's great. I'm big fan of Miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cracking player. Yeah, so we've got Mansfield away on Saturday. They've got one of the lowest conceding rates in England in the EFL so far. In the
team that's going to be up there this season. Definitely just missed out last year in the playoff final. They're going to be up there.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough on Saturday. If we can come away from that unscathed, that'd be nice.
Weirdly enough, I think we're going to come away with a win there. I don't know why. I've nothing to back it up. I've just got this feeling in my water. Although maybe it's all the Carabao I've been drinking.
Possibly is coursing through your veins.
Yeah. I'm going out after this.
Yeah, for about 10 minutes until the sugar rush wears off. Then
yeah. I'll get to the end of the road and then come back in tears.
I'm actually similarly to you, Nick. I'm kind of weirdly cautiously optimistic. I guess I feel it'll be a different kind of test than what Colchester gave us. I don't imagine there'll be a big physical bunch of shithouses. They're coached by Nigel Clough. That's the one thing I really know about them. So there you go. They're going to be a football inside, aren't they? They're going to be well marshalled and well coached. And if they're fancied in the league, I think I'm looking forward to it really, just as a test. And let's go out there, not be a bag of nerves like we might have been against Barrow, understandably maybe, not concede 2 goals in the last 2 minutes, not get anybody sent off in the first 20. Let's just play 90 minutes against a decent football team and see what comes out. Because I still think we can and will compete at this level if we can rule out all of that crazy stuff we're getting up to.
You'd rather get all the crazy stuff out of the way early on, wouldn't you?
Sure.
You don't want to be getting into like March, April, where every game's a cup final, and then getting players stupidly sent off. Yeah,
all of that.
You don't want that. Like we did last season.
Yeah, all of that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. So what else? We've got the competition to do. Leicester's sold out. I don't know if we told you that, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Leicester's sold out now.
Well, we're on Mansfield. Jonathan, you are back this Saturday, aren't you, with the away day show? Tell the lovely listeners and the not so lovely ones, because I'm sure there's some of them low average, isn't it? Tell them about it.
They're also welcome to tune in. Thank you. Yeah. So for people who don't know and for people who do, as a reminder, so I do this little radio show on a Saturday morning on the internet. I'll tell you kind of how to get to it in a minute. And basically, it's your essential match day build up when County are away. So what I do is it's a little bit like I always say, like when it's the FA Cup final and the TV starts at like 9 o'clock in the morning and you got all your features. So it's like that, except with a bit of indie pop music and stuff thrown as well. So we have a few tunes that we'll play. We have a fantastic County fan guest to come on and just talk to us about all things County. That's going to be Nick this weekend. Thank you, Nick, for coming along. We have a little bit of kind of insight from the dugouts in terms of what Challenger's been saying. We have a bit of insight into the opposition and the town, and we have a poll every week. We have a poll which I'll be putting on Twitter tomorrow, I would think. And basically, we reveal the results of the poll of the County Nation on the show. And this week, shall I tell you what the poll's going to be? I'll tell you that. I said earlier on, didn't I? But basically, I thought this would be a good one. I thought if there's one thing that needs to improve, and maybe fast from the early part of the season, I've remembered my fourth option now. Is it the selection of the team? Is it the tactics? Is it the discipline? Or is it just luck? Are we just being unlucky? And I think it'll be interesting to see what people think about that and get the debate going. Because the other thing that we do in the show is just get the debate going. You can just listen or you can interact. It's online. And yeah, it's a way to get the away day going. So I'm going to be doing that again this season, starting Mansfield on Saturday. Have I said anything about the show there? Have I missed anything that people need to know about the show?
No. Is you starting at 9:30? Did you say?
Half 9.
Half 9. So So the
Nice,
time on the
nice.
ticker on the banner is correct, and the address is there as well.
It is as well. And so that's the place to go. And also my Twitter handle's at the bottom, isn't it, beside my name. So if you go
Yes.
to there, then I'll be posting a link to the show, which you can just click on from 9:30 on Saturday morning. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get going again with the away day show.
Excellent. You've done a better job of describing your show than I ever do at describing this. People tell me, what's your podcast about? I was like, well, it's about a guy called Russ and his search for love in all the wrong places. And it's just a delightful romp.
It's not far off. Yeah.
And my search for Carabao in all the wrong places, as I did this afternoon. All just for a little 30-second joke at the start of the show.
I'm sure you'll squeeze more out of it than that, Nick, when we come to do the competition.
I need to squeeze a bloody piss out, mate. This is horrible. This is the worst.
Couple of things, just going back before we get the competition done and we talk about the guests that are coming up and all that good stuff. Ryan Moore says, did you see Sarcevic having a go at the ref? I didn't see it in real time, no, because my limbs were going everywhere. But I did see it played back, and I thought that was a bit strange, to be honest. I don't know. Have you seen that?
I'd do. That's just me at 5-a-side. That's the type of thing I'd do. Yeah.
But you're just inviting the ref to do something about it, aren't you? So, but I did see it after that, yeah. And Ian Dowden says, "Is that a new flag for those listening on the podcast?" Yes, there is a new flag behind me. Thank you to Righty, friend and contributor to the show, for that. Looks good, doesn't it?
Since you've mentioned Righty, it's a good time to tell the lovely people what's coming up next few weeks, because next week you're away on your hollybobs. You're going to be living, laughing, and loving, aren't you, Russ?
I am, but I'm coming back.
The North Principality of Wales.
Yeah, but I'm coming back for the Leicester match. Yeah. So there's a few things coming up. So I'm talking to Steve O'Hara on Friday. So we'll have a ladies' chat coming up for you. Hopefully Friday. I'm going to record it, get it straight out Friday. It sort of nicely supplements the monthly newsletter that County are putting out with the ladies. And then we've got quite a busy few weeks. So next week it's Ben Walker and Righty with you, hopefully talking about a positive result at the weekend and versus Leicester.
No, we're going to have a good old chat about what it'd be like if County were top 7 in the Premier League, and that's going to be the hour. just to ruin your holiday. I'm motivated by nothing but spite, me, mate.
I'm not going to listen to it whatsoever. Then in a few weeks we're going to have Michael Rains and Paul Turnbull in the County Arms talking about all things academy and their careers and how they see County at the moment and all that kind of stuff. And then in a few weeks after that, probably mid-September, we've got Tom Bennett coming online. My favourite ever player. I'm going to tell him when he's online. Go all fanboy on him.
I'll nip off and get myself a delicious Carabao at that point.
Yeah. And then shortly after that, we've got Daz Sampson in the County Arms as well. Because he's good value, is Daz, and I wanted to get him in the County Arms so we can actually meet him for a change.
Should I bring some? Should I bring my bass and we'll lay a track down?
Yeah, do that.
Finally get that song going.
Yeah. I'll get a cowbell. I've got a cowbell in the house, so I'll use that.
Excellent.
It needs more cowbell. Everything needs more cowbell. And then we've got Chloe coming on as well at some point. Just finalising dates. Just to let everybody know, Chloe has been doing some really good articles for us. The sort of stat in-depth articles, which are great. They're really supplementing what we're talking about. As is Ant Sherratt. You might have seen Ant Sherratt's pre-match blogs as well. So yeah, it's all running pretty smoothly. And we've got Pete and Cal doing our media for us.
Yeah. And then with it all running smoothly, you're going to go off on holiday, and God knows what you're going to be left with. It's going to be like when like your 16-year-old kid is at home alone for the first time when you're on holiday. And then if it's anything like me, they're running round like 10 minutes before mum and dad come up the drive. Like, we're just doing the washing up. Checking there's no sick anywhere. That's what it's going to be like when you're away.
Yeah, trying to get the scratch out of that vintage table.
Yeah. Within 5 minutes of you getting on the motorway, I'm going to be on top of this chair with my top off. So, sexy parties.
So we've got all that coming for you, and trying to get Dave Thompson on as well, but just trying to finalise dates with him, and then other guests. We're just going to get other guests on, but that's pretty much the guests between now and the end of September.
Then we've got another list to work through after that, haven't we?
We have
next stage of the list. So if you're on if you know you're on our list and you've not come on yet, don't worry, we're getting there. We're getting there.
You. We are getting there, yeah. Because we've got James Jennings coming on at some point. Sam Minion still said he'll come on at some point. I'm going to nail Sam down as soon as we can get him on. Yeah, there's probably I'm sure there's somebody I've forgotten. But anyway, yeah, that's what we are doing.
And what we are doing is that.
And then there's an away day blog as well that's doing the rounds, and the scarf my father wore as well from Desinks. So everybody's well served for county content at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a rich time for county content. Yeah.
I do. I think there really is. There's loads out there to read and watch and hear. It's all fantastic. It's all fantastic.
Yeah. Plenty to take your mind off the football.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should you want to do that? Right. Can we get Jarko Viss on? I mean, yeah, if he wants to come on, if anybody knows who or where he is. Not who he is.
We know who he is. Yeah.
I know, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I meant where he is, what he's doing. Then yes, if someone can put us in touch, we will endeavour to get him on. Okay, should we do the competitions?
Let's do the competitions. So earlier today, the lovely people at Carabao, available in all good retailers and, let's be fair, some rubbish ones as well. They've given us 3 pairs of tickets for the Carabao Cup game with Leicester next Tuesday. And how are we doing it, Russ? How are we splitting those winners? What have you done?
So we've done a competition on Twitter, we've done a competition on Facebook, and we're going to do a competition here and now. So do you want to ask the question that the lovely people have to answer to win the tickets? And then while they're answering the question, I will announce who the winners are for the Twitter and the Facebook competitions. So while you're getting that question ready for Twitter, if you retweeted the tweet that we sent out earlier, then it's just a simple, we picked a winner at random. So we've got that winner now, and we'll announce that in a second. And for Facebook, they had to answer the tricky question of who scored County's goal in the Coca-Cola Cup semi-final away leg at Middlesbrough. The winning goal. And of course, the answer is, Nick.
Well, don't get me started on this, Russell, because I've seen a lot of people saying Sean Connolly, but spelt
wrong.
Yes. And as a petty and vindictive individual, I'd throw all them entries in the bin. But you're a nice, normal person.
Yeah.
We know what they mean, so
yeah.
It's fair enough. We'll let them off. Yeah. And the problem was there's obviously people who didn't know the answer, but they've seen other people.
So everybody else is, yeah.
But everyone's got it wrong now.
Yeah. No, T, you've got it correct, T, but that's not the question. Yeah. That's not the answer that we're looking for.
6 hours too late, mate.
So
there's still people commenting on Facebook now. There's still people coming on now like Sean Connery. Too late. We've already picked the winner. Yes. So if you want to win our final pair of tickets, then you need to answer this question. And are we going to go for the first answer, Russ? The first correct answer?
Yeah, it's got to be on it. Otherwise, how else do we do it? Yeah.
And that kind of puts the people who are going to Google it at a disadvantage, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Which is good.
Yes.
Really good. It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with the fastest finger. On the, not fastest finger, the phone a friend.
Yeah.
And they only give you 30 seconds, so you can't be like, right, just read it a bit slower while I just type it into Google. So you can't do that. So, first answer will be the one to win the tickets. If you're not in the UK or you have no plans to go, please.
Yeah.
Leave it for someone who will. Otherwise, the people at Carabao are not going to be very happy with that.
We're talking to you, Matt, really, aren't we?
Yeah. Matt Air Miles Bryan, top of the fan-hub leaderboard, still hanging in there. We need like Dover away in the FA Cup, I think, to give someone else a chance. Right. So the first answer will apply, and while we're waiting for the answers, Russ will tell you who's won the other two pairs. So the question is as follows. Right, just clear my throat there. I could do with a delicious drink of Carabao to clear my throat, but I'm on the Iron Brew now.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, right.
Come on, go on with it.
Our first League Cup tie after the 96-97 season, that's after, saw us triumph after a marathon penalty shootout, but who were the opponents? Our first League Cup tie after 96-97 saw us triumph after a marathon penalty shootout, but who were the opponents? And we'll just play the waiting game.
So, let's wait for that to come in.
I'm not even finished saying it.
Right, I'm gonna announce the other winners. Yeah, okay. So the winner on Facebook is Ed Powell. So I'll contact him on Facebook. But if you do know him, can you ping him a message, tell him he's won 2 tickets? And the winner on Twitter is Dilly. So again, both randomly selected. Yes. So Dilly on Twitter and Ed Powell on Facebook. I will contact you both separately. Yes. So we have a winner. I think. Yeah. There's some. I didn't think it was a penalty shootout either. Like we discussed earlier. But
I don't know. I don't care anymore, mate. When you've got the sweet taste of Carabao in your life, these things just don't matter. Either way, it was our first League Cup game after 96-97.
It was,
right.
And
maybe I should have checked an actual website rather than remembering who it was against.
Yeah, and the person with the fastest finger first was T. So congratulations, T. Can you please email us contact@scarfbagaraaward.co.uk with your contact details? We need the contact details tonight, really, because the organisers want to get in touch with you tomorrow morning at latest. Strict EFL rules. They want to get the tickets to you ASAP. And I'll be the same message for Ed Powell and Dilly. There we go.
If you've already got tickets and you've won, then there may be people like producers of top county content who haven't managed to get a ticket who might like one. So
maybe the odd one.
No, the odd
one.
Oh, you got okay, right.
I'm near you actually, Russ. I'm in upper tier 2.
Oh,
I'll be able to wave across at you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did make valiant efforts to get a ticket. You saw this, didn't you? In the team.
Yeah.
Clicking away at me for.
Yeah. So well done, T. Yeah, it wasn't a penalty. It was a penalty. It wasn't a penalty shootout. It was just a humdinger of a match, wasn't it? I remember it now. Okay.
That's me going to the wrong websites. Story of my life.
Right, I think we're just about done, aren't we?
I'd say so.
Yeah. So, Nick, what have we learned?
What have we learned? Well, we've not done my record of the week this week.
Oh God, we've learned that I keep on forgetting your record of the week. But last week you didn't have it there, did you? So
no, well, it's too hot. It's too hot, mate. It'll warp in the sun. We normally have Ian Dowden to remind us, but he's seen his ass over the penalty shootout mix-up. There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Better late than never. Well. I kind of started the theme before the Stevenage game. I started the theme of trying to pick an artist from the town we're going to be playing. Now, obviously, for away games, that's Jonathan's thing, and plus, I don't have an Alvin Stardust vinyl. Believe it or not. So,
yeah, I'm in on Saturday, by the way.
I for one
Invention,
cannot
mate.
wait.
Yeah.
Interesting article on the Guardian because I'm lefty scum. That's the type of stuff I read. And I read an article in the Guardian about is it everyone familiar with Operation London Bridge? Which that's what they've got in place for when the Queen dies.
Oh,
That's so you basically the people in charge of all the news outlets will say right Operation London Bridge, and they have to put out all the stuff they've got ready. So I thought, well, I'm gonna live this week as though she has snuffed it. That's what I'm going. That's my little theme for the week. Now else on really. I had to go out to the shops to get some Carabao this afternoon, and other than that, my diary has been wide open. So with that in mind, I've gone for The Queen is Dead by the Smiths because when she does cark it, I'm going to be exclusively listening to that and avoiding the news. So I thought I'd just prepare. I'll tell you what, I feel a lot better for avoiding the news, Russell. I feel very good. Don't have a clue what's going on, but I feel good about it. Which is how it must be to like be a Love Islander. Yeah, just going about the life. They don't know what's happening, but they're happy. They're shagging.
Do you know what that is one of my all-time favorite albums, The Queen is Dead. And if I was gonna play a track right now, it would be side A, second song, Frankly Mr. Shankly. Frankly Mr. Shankly, it pays my way, but it corrodes my soul. I have to leave. You understand me. I need to go down in musical history. I mean, come on. Lyrical genius right there.
What happened to that Morrissey guy? You know,
I don't know. I don't think he got into any kind of controversial situation.
No. Dodgy views.
So yeah, we got a comment in saying Nick is more undateables than Love Island. Okay. Oh, we got a lovely. This is a lovely thing. T, the winner.
Oh, come on, no, T. Have you a ticket, T? You've won your ticket, mate. Go to the game. That's 2 nights.
Unless you've already got one. In which case,
mate, if you've got one, I'll take it off you. But you don't have to, honestly.
that is lovely. That
it honestly is lovely. Maybe we'll have an exchange of correspondence with each other. But seriously, mate,
very wholesome.
Yeah, can I just say though, John, if you do that, can you be bloody quick about it? Because we need to get the contact details over tomorrow morning. Can you do it tonight and let me know?
That's restored my faith in well, I won't get that far. But it's certainly made me feel quite
in humanity. Yeah.
I feel quite warm and fuzzy. It might be the Carabao.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's making me warm and fuzzy. I don't know. I'll see when I check up at the hospital tomorrow and see what they say. That's really nice. That is. That's a really nice thing to do. Oh, I feel like your man out of A Christmas Carol. You know, who's like seen the reality of his actions and stuff like that. Like maybe me being cynical isn't the best thing, or maybe it is, and we'll just get back to it next week.
My goodness.
T, can you still get in touch so we can put you in touch with John and sort that stuff out? And I'll contact Ed and I'll contact Dilly. Right, cool.
Watchers will know what competitions do to us mentally. So it'd be nice to get this one boxed off as quick as possible. Yes, what have we learned, Russell?
What have we learned?
Should I tell you, or do you want to tell me?
I'll tell you the first one. A watch pint never pours. That's what we've learned. So when you go get a 2-pinter, stick with your 1-pinter.
Yeah, go on.
Get your 2-pinter. Just look
way into the second half.
Or
and a pint of lager. Did I say this earlier? I did, didn't I? A pint. A pint of lager looks suddenly very small compared to a 2 pints of lager.
Yeah. Well, don't even get a pint. Just get 2 halves. Save even more time.
I can give you a little tale about this. We'll get to things we've learned in a minute. Pete Wilson of this parish. When I first started going home and away with him, like National League North, he's going to kill me for telling this story, but it's hilarious. So he just turned 18 in National League North, so he could start getting around and everything. Obviously, we'd get him booze from the supermarket before a train journey and stuff like that, and then it was his turn to get around it. And because we're nasty bastards, we used to hang on to it, make sure we all got our rounds in before, and then he'd have to get them in an Edgeley Park. So he went down onto the Cheadle End concourse prior to half time. We went down to get our pints, and he got us each a half. And he said, "Oh, I got your half because it was cheaper, but it's less beer." Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
That is the first and last time that guy will buy a round of horse. Make that kind of boy error, isn't it? You
I
know
think
what
we
mean?
only stopped going on about it about 3 weeks ago.
It's like one of those kind of things where like fake it till you make it, isn't it? Right, you're gonna pretend to be an English person. You got away with it all the way, and then you bought halves at the bar. He was doing so well. He was doing so well until
All
that
going
point.
fantastically. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was National League North days where you need a good big old pint.
Oh God, yeah.
This is pre-Gannon.
Yeah.
We're
You
talking
could,
the
you could,
doldrums.
you could
here.
get served a pint and you needed one in those days.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they were the days, weren't they? Getting served a pint, just milling about amongst 2,000 people in the Cheadle End. Happy days. Well, shed a few more day trippers and we'll be going that way. Back to the things we've learned then. We've just learned a load more other things there. Discipline makes all the difference. I'm sure we can all agree with that. And of course, the biggest thing of all that we've learned is that we did not win a penalty shootout against Mansfield in 97-98. It's good. I've got Ben Walker on next week, so he'll pull me up.
Oh, he will. Yeah, he'll know.
Stuff like that. Yeah, it'll be good to have someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, you get away with it with me, but not with Ben.
No. I'll be tarred and feathered.
He's a walking county encyclopedia.
Yeah.
No.
He's great. Right, good stuff. Thanks for coming on, boys. Thanks, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a great week next week, and see everybody in a couple of weeks. Anything you want to say before we go, Nick?
Oh, no, we're not attitude, no.
No? Okay. Cheers for coming on, Geordie Hatter.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Don't forget to listen to Geordie Hatter's Away Day show pre-Mansfield on Saturday. And with that, I will bid you farewell. See you later. Bye.